Welcome to TUC Half Hour, the official weekly television program of the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. It is a pleasure having you join us for the show today. I am your host, Ave Michael. On today's episode, we'll be highlighting the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, PENGASSAN National Executive Meeting, and the Textile Union 5th Quadrennial Delegate Conference. But before we delve into the highlights of these events, let's review our trivia question for the week. As always, kindly stick around to the end of the episode to find the right answer out. TUC Half Hour continues after the break. The PENGASSAN National Executive Meeting held on the 5th of December 2024 in Abuja. It was presided by President Festus Osifo alongside other working committee members to discuss issues affecting the association as well as review of policies by the government in the oil and gas industry. Some of these policies include divestment, the Nigerian Tax Reform Bill, the state of the Port Harcourt refinery, as well as influx of expatriates in done office operations in Nigeria oil and gas industry. Let's take a look. The recent PENGASSAN National Executive Council meeting held on December 4th, 2024 at the Breakpoint Hotel and Apartments, Abuja. The meeting focused on several critical issues affecting the oil and gas industry in Nigeria. Comrade Festus Osifo, president of PENGASSAN, along with other central working committee members, addressed topics such as the operational status of the Port Harcourt refinery, which has been under scrutiny despite its recent relaunch. The president confirmed that the refinery is operational and producing essential products like diesel, kerosene, and petrol, though some units, including the platformer unit that produces reformate, is still fine-tuned.
NNPCL for the rehabilitation and successful startup of the old Port Harcourt refinery. Over the years, PENGASSAN has been at the forefront for demanding that these refineries must be rehabilitated and brought back to operations. This we will not stop until the remaining 3 refineries are successfully rehabilitated and resume operations. After the rehabilitation, and afterwards, we will mount a vanguard for the refineries to be privatized using the NLNG model that has worked efficiently over the years. You know, it was announced a while ago that the Port Harcourt refinery has started production. And at the time, NUPENG and PENGASSAN, we advocated that if you want to fix that refinery, that it is good for a PENGASSAN or a NUPENG representative to be at least in the steering committee, because in the past, that has been the missing link. In the past, they have always told us that they are rehabilitating the refineries when in the right sense of it, nothing literally was going on. So we insisted. So that now made PENGASSAN and NUPENG to be representing in the high-level committee that was referred to as the steering committee. So over this period, one of the major key highlights that NUPENG and PENGASSAN brought to that committee was our insistence that the funds that are to be borrowed, the funds that are to be used in fixing those refineries should not be sent to CBN, that the funds should not be sent to any government treasury, that the funds must be kept in an escrow account where no politician will have access to, where you only release those funds in tranches depending on the work that has been done. So we insisted on that. And that is the reason today that we can even talk about rehabilitation that is going on in that refinery. So imagine if these monies were borrowed, you have heard about the scandals that we have had in CBN in recent while. So imagine if these monies were borrowed and they were placed in CBN that is being managed by the former CBN governor with all the scandals that we are hearing today. We wouldn't have been here discussing about the Port Harcourt refinery. So we insisted the money was kept in an escrow account. It was not given to anybody. There is no politician that can access 1 naira from it. What has been done is that over this period, as they are doing the maintenance, so initially, the initial sum of 15% was released by government. So as they progress, once they complete 15% work, all the parties, the affiliation that is lending the money, the representative from government, representative from the union, representative from CBN, we will all go there to verify, to be sure that the 15% has been done before you can draw the extra fund. So that any day you stop the work, it is the level, the work that you have done is commensurate with the funds that has been released. Having said that, gentlemen of the press, we can confirm authoritatively that the Port Harcourt refinery is actually working. And I need to take some time. To give us a little snippet of how the refining process do take place. First, we appreciate Nigerians for holding government accountable. We must be interested in the workability of our assets. We must not just take stories that government are telling us, hook, line, and sinker. It is our responsibility as active citizens to actually check these things government said. Is it actually true? Because over the years, we have lost trust in government. So, and again, the media as well, we are also happy with the level of push to be sure that what is happening in Port Harcourt refinery is actually the reality. Some of the checks that we don't do them with management or with government. But some of the checks that we do them with our members that are there. So the confirmation as of today is that the refinery is working. The fractional distillation unit, popularly referred to as the CDU, what will happen is that you pass crude into the CDU. When you pass crude into it, the CDU is going to break down this crude. It's just as if you take crude, you put it in your drum, and you heat it. As you are heating it at different temperature, you are going to have different products coming out. So the old Port Harcourt refinery was designed. It was built in the 60s and refurbished around 70s and 80s. But it was designed to produce the diesel, the AGO, popularly referred to as diesel, as well as it also produces kerosene, the DPK. Then also, it produces what is referred to as naphtha. So now, as of today, the distillating unit is producing these products. But when it's finished producing these products, what will now happen is that naphtha is further processed. Yes, the maintenance is still work in progress. That naphtha ought to have been blended with some other materials. The reformate, for example. But if, as of today, the unit that is producing that reformate is still, they are still putting finishing touches to that particular unit. So what is being done? As union, we will tell you exactly what it is without coloring anything. So what is being done today is that naphtha, they take that naphtha, they now blend that naphtha with craxify that is obtained from Indorama. So when they blend this naphtha, it gives us PMS. But what we should be interested in as Nigerians is that does Port Harcourt refinery produces AGO today? The answer is yes. Does Port Harcourt refinery produces DPK today? The answer is yes. Does Port Harcourt refinery produces PMS today? The answer is yes. So the processes are not really much of our concern. The man on the street does not understand what is CDU. The man on the street does not understand what is craxify. What the man on the street understands is PMS, kerosene, and diesel. Are we getting this from Port Harcourt refinery? The answer clearly is yes. So So, comrades, on our part as well, we are also pushing to ensure that the new one also come on stream. Beyond the Port Harcourt refinery, the Warri refinery, and the Kaduna refinery, we are pushing actively to ensure that production starts in these refineries. Literally, production starting in this refinery is a national pride. Production starting in this refinery will create jobs, but overall will insignificantly bring down the price of PMS, AGO, and DPK today. The answer is a no. The reason is because of the weakness of our currency. So the greatest challenge is the weakness of our currency, and we have advocated this over and over again. With Naira exchanging for about $1 to about 1,700 Naira, the cost of goods in the market is going to be high. Remember, when the Naira was exchanging for 360 Naira to $1, the cost of AGO diesel was around 250 Naira. The cost of kerosene was also low. So what has made those costs significantly high today is our exchange rate. And it is not limited to just the petroleum products alone. Today, if you want to buy a phone, you know what the cost is. If you want to buy a laptop, you know what the cost is. If you want to buy a television, air conditioning unit, you know what the costs are because of our exchange rate. So that is the greatest devil in the room.
On the divestment by international oil companies from the onshore and swamp of the Nigerian oil and gas industry, the president noted that none of his members lost their job till date and that efforts are being made to ensure that the job of everyone is protected.
As you may have been aware, a lot of international oil and gas companies are divesting from onshore and shallow waters of the Nigerian oil and gas industry. The divestment brought about some opportunities for the indigenous companies and inherent challenges for the employees and members of the association in the affected companies. The major task that was before PENGASSAN leadership was how to protect the jobs of our members and the existing collective bargaining agreement, as most of the new companies do not have existing PENGASSAN branch. I want to gladly announce to this August gathering that we have since concluded negotiations with the Nigeria Ajib Oil Company NAOC and successfully signed an agreement between NAOC and Owando Energy Limited. This agreement made the two criteria of protecting the jobs of our members and protecting the condition of service in the collective bargaining agreement. For the divestment of Mobile Producing Nigeria Unlimited JV assets to Seplat Energy Offshores Limited, we just concluded negotiations and signed agreement with Mobile Producing Nigeria Unlimited and Seplat Energy Offshores Limited on how our members will be transited. And again, the two broad line criteria were met. Distinguished NEC members, we have also reached a landing on the divestment of Equinor to Chapa Energy. We are currently reviewing the communique for a sign-off, and this should be concluded in the coming days. For the divestment of Shell Petroleum Development Company, SPDC JV, assets to Renaissance Consortium, we have to stop all conversations with management of shell companies in Nigeria because government declined approval to this asset. We wish to use this opportunity to appreciate the role played by the Commission Chief Executive of Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, NUPROC, Engineer Gbenga Komolafe, for approving a divestment precondition that takes cognizance of workers' rights and privileges. We also thank the management of NNPC Limited, led by the GCU, Malam Mele Kolo Kiari, and actively supported by the Chief Upstream Investment Officer, CUIO, of NNPC Limited Upstream Investment Management Services, Mr. Balawunti, for their strong role in achieving a workers-friendly agreement that met our set objectives. The chairmen of the companies that we successfully done divestment, some of them are here. We can confirm to you that as of today, there is no single job that has been lost in any of these companies as a result of divestment. Because we realize that our primary function is how to safeguard the job of our members. First, you safeguard jobs, then you start talking about pay enhancement. If the job is not there, You won't even talk about pay enhancement, because what are you enhancing? So first, you safeguard the job. So in each of the agreement that we have signed, it was clearly stated on how jobs will be safeguarded. But if anybody on its own now voluntarily wants to, it happens every day. People resign, people come in and people go out. But as a result of divestment, as of today, we can clearly confirm to you that there is no single individual, no single PENGASSAN member has lost his or her job as a result of divestment.
Another major discussion point was the increasing employment of expatriates in the industry by some companies operating in the sector. This has raised concern among PENGASSAN members who are preparing to confront companies that prioritize hiring foreign nationals over qualified Nigerians, seeking to reinforce local content regulations.
The importance of our sector, not just in Nigeria, but the world. The oil and gas industry has long been the beacon of our economy, providing jobs, infrastructure, and resources that have fueled our development. However, the sector faces imminent challenges that threaten not only its sustainability, but also the prosperity of our nation and the welfare of its citizens. We also agree that the challenges facing Nigeria oil and gas industry are multifaceted and deeply intertwined with our social, economic, and environmental fabric. However, we have turned these challenges into opportunities through a commitment to transparency, inclusivity, and innovation. With our collective responsibility, government, industry, you and I, we can fight for a sustainable future where our natural resources will benefit every Nigerian. The influx of foreigners and flagrant abuse of the expatriate quota. A pressing concern is the high number of expatriates in Nigeria oil and gas industry, mainly from India. While skilled foreign workers contribute to economic development, the current situation demands attention. Many expatriates and alleged quota abuses raise concerns about long-term national development impact. Expatriate employment also strains the economy due to salaries, remittances, and other expenses. Socially, it can fuel unrest and resentment among Nigerians who feel excluded from opportunities in their industry. We demand strengthening our regulatory mechanisms and enforcing the regulations to promote local content and ensure transparency and accountability. We must work towards ensuring fair sharing of our natural resources to the benefit of all Nigerians. We have been calling the names. We are trade unions. We are not shying away from calling names. We called out a company called Indorama. We called out a company called Sterling. Yes, and we are also holding to account a government institution called NCDMB, and also those also in Ministry of Interiors. These are the people that gives permit for these expatriates to come. If you go to some of these companies, vulcanizers, they are Indians. If you go to this company, the chairman of Sterling is the one there. He said conductors that they are PENGASSAN. They are what? They are Indians. If you go to these companies, you see operators in these companies. They are Indians, and that should not hold. So, rising from this NEC meeting, we are going to resolve that we will do everything possible to hold them to account. This is not the first company where this has been done. In the company where I work, for example, Total Energies, in 2015, it was a battle, it was war. We took it to them and we ensured that the expatriate in that was greatly reduced, courtesy of PENGASSAN. So we have done it before, we can also do it again, because the more you send these expatriates away, the more you are attracting, the more the management of these companies would open up the system and employ more Nigerians. It is so bad that our institutions are weak. If you go to Angola, you don't have the kind of problem we have today in Nigeria. The people that fight for the workers in Angola is not even trade unions. They are government institutions. If you work in Angola for a while, you must go back to your country and reapply again. And they ensure that the jobs that they give you in Angola are actually those technical jobs, but not minor jobs. So our government must sit up Our institutions must sit up. NCDMB, Ministry of Interior, they must sit up and do what they ought to do. So it's a battle that we are much more prepared to fight, and very, very soon we will confront it frontally.
The Textile Union 5th Quadrennial Delegate Conference held on the 28th of November 2024 in the University of Ibadan, Oyo State. It convened key union members, including President Babatunde Abayomi Alamotun, to discuss labor conditions, industry challenges, strategies to improve the welfare of members of the association, and industry standards. Let's take a look. The Textile Union's 5th Quadrennial Delegate Conference at the University of Ibadan on November 28th brought together key leaders, including President Babatunde Abayomi Alamotun, to address labor conditions and industry challenges. Discussions focused on improving safety protocols, fair wages, and regulated working hours. Industry challenges like technological advancements, competition from imports, and sustainable practices were also highlighted. Strategies for member welfare, including better healthcare, continuous education, and robust pension plans. The conference underscored the need for quality control and ethical practices, reaffirming the union's commitment to enhancing member welfare and industry standards.
They've been able to explain so many issues that are not making the segment of the industry to be booming as it used to be. When we're growing up, textile and garment was one of the largest employer of labor. But today, it is the other way around. We have so many moribund industries in the sector. But we believe that with what we have learned today and some other effort that will be put in over the period of time, all these things will be harnessed and we will see improvement, both from the government, from the employers, and even from the workers, to move this sector of the economy forward. And also, the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria, ably led by Comrade Festus Usifo, is always ready to do things to bring people together so as to brainstorm, so as to cross-pollinate ideas that will help each of the affiliates that are represented in the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria. So it is a wonderful location, and we believe that everything that we have learned, that we have put together today, will be put into practice. And also, I would like to say a big thank you to our chief host in Oyo State, His Excellency Engineer Oluseyi Abiodun Makinde, who is the one hosting us, who has been of tremendous support, not only to TUC, but to the labor movement in Oyo State altogether. So thank you. And I would like to say a big thank you to all the participants, and I pray that as people will be going back to their various destinations, I wish them a safe journey, and the message of God will go with them. Thank you.
The event is an eye-opener because we are able to assess the challenges and the way forward in a textile union organization. The textile in Nigeria is gradually going into moribund, but with the discussion we had today, I think with the involvement feedback to the government, there will be a change in reviving the textile industry in Nigeria. So, as it is, I want to appreciate the honor of the TUC president, who had brought all of us together to make the occasion a successful one. And to the host, we wish them a successful delegate conference in the second batch.
Well, that's it on the show today, but before we draw the curtains, let us reveal the answer to our trivia question for the week. Do not forget to follow us on all our social media handles displayed on the screen for prompt updates and more information. Thank you for tuning in. Until next week, I am Ave Michael. God bless Nigerian workers. Bye for now.